Here is the key to the unlocking habits, or embracing a habit. It needs to be easy and
Yes.
simple and fun.
Yes.
If there's no fun, that's like, a little bit lack of inspiration there. It's like, what am I waking up this for?
Welcome to the We Ain't Normal podcast, where each week we share the best tools to help neurodiverse moms navigate life so you can enjoy more flow, focus, and freedom to live your best life yet. And now, here's your host, Charmaine Fuller.
Are you feeling buried under a list of things to do that seem to have no end in sight? Do you feel like if you slow down or stop, things will fall apart? Are you feeling like you're consistently missing the mark or dropping the ball in the most important areas of your life? Well, that's why the Simplify My Schedule workshop was created. Simplify My Schedule is designed to help you uncover the secret to creating a schedule that keeps you focused and in flow. Simply. To learn more, go to thecharmedlife.me/workshop and sign up for the next workshop session. I'll see you there. Hey, what's up, everybody, every lady in the podcast sphere? Welcome back to We Ain't Normal Show. And today I have Jenny Lee with me. Now, I just discovered her, but oh my gosh, if you haven't, you need to. She tells it like it is. She is a coach that's going to help you to get your habits and your mindset and your intentions together so you don't have to worry about if you're motivated or not. You can just rock it out. And I am just so grateful that I get to be in this space with her today. I am super stoked to because we've already been talking before this. And I'm like, oh my God, let me record because we were getting into it.
Couldn't help it.
Couldn't help it. Jenny, share a bit about you, how you serve, what you do, all that great stuff.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited and I'm so honored that you actually went to check my stuff. It's like, I feel so famous. Thank you. Yeah, I am so looking forward to this.
Yes. And so today we're going to be talking about why motivation isn't your struggle. I don't know about you in your coaching arena, but one of the biggest icks that women come to me with is, I wish I could stay focused. I wish I could stay motivated. What can you give me to stay motivated? And I always kind of, motivation is one of those words it's kind of like how you think of it, semantics, right? It's not most people, when they say motivation, they think of an external thing. What's the next affirmation you can give me? What's the next, inspirational quote? What do you consider motivation to be, and why don't you like that particular explanation of?
Thank you for that point, because when I saw your questions, right, when I filled out those questionnaires about motivation, it's like, I have detached myself from that word for a long time now, because I kind of saw motivation as this, some mean coach yelling at you. It's like, focus, you son of a bitch. It's like, keep running. And, you need that external drive to be able to achieve something. But that's not going to work with me, because at some point I would just shy away from that and look for something that, that's the word, aligned with who you really are, with you emotionally, with you, that, that you feel that is so much more purposeful.
Yeah.
Right, aligned with your soul. And that's what I call inspiration. So no, I do not want to be motivated. I want to be inspired. And that's it, right? With the morning routine habits, morning habits that I'm coaching people, it is for them to find an activity that they find happy and joyful, that they're eager to wake up to, instead of wake up 2 hours early and go to the gym and like, grind and, work hard. Oh my gosh. If you tell me to do that, like when I was still struggling with the mornings, like that would, I would probably do that because maybe I wanted to lose weight, right? I was worried about what other people think. But then like, it was all not aligned with who I really am. So how I started was really just like 10 minutes. I want it to be easy and simple and you know what? Happy. That's like the biggest thing, fun
Yes.
and happy. And for me, that time was playing music and dance just for 10 minutes. And I would feel rejuvenated and exhilarated in the process that, oh, I got to do this again tomorrow. And yeah, right. And especially with my past, I grew up in this really conservative Chinese family in Indonesia, which is predominantly Muslim and conservative.
Oh,
And I
wow.
went to Catholic church and Catholic school. And there was like a lot of oppression and suppression of, my personhood, basically.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, when I get out of the line, with my self-expression, I would
Yeah.
be beaten back to the box of conformity. Like
Yes.
that's what it was like for me all through my childhood, teenagehood, early adulthood. And so I was so separated from who I was. And so waking up in the morning, having to go to a Catholic school that's like so punishing. They practice corporal punishment,
Yeah.
emotional abuse, physical abuse, like everything that you find illegal right now, like was okay for them. Like, it was like the norm. And so it's like, why would you want to wake up to that? And so I carried that energy throughout my
Got it.
teenagehood, my adulthood. And so mornings were always hard. And I became a mother. And like, oh my gosh, if you could just imagine like having to wake up in the morning to take
Yeah.
care of another human being, to take care of a family, going to a job that you don't like. I fell into depression, at some point. But
Right.
then for me to heal, I had to step out of that. I got a divorce and, got out of that town.
There is so much to unpack with that. There's a couple of
yeah.
things that you like laid out in it.
Mhm.
And the first one that I got is doing what works for you. And that has been the reoccurring theme of this, is doing what works for you. I call it the bro coaching, where it's like, get up, I call it the Gary V way of life, right? You get up, you grind, you don't get any sleep
Don't
because
do that.
that is not how to operate. So
No.
doing that seems to be like that piece. The other piece is understanding where your patterns came from. And that's what we were kind of talking about beforehand, is that once you kind of sit back and go, oh, this shit really isn't mine. Like this is, this is because of X, Y, and Z. Well, what do I want to do? How do I want to show up? And I think so many women, specifically moms, once we have kids, we kind of really stop asking ourselves that question, which is so important to being able to create either a morning or midday routine that's going to support you for, most of your day.
Yeah.
How did you get into, your routine? Like you said, you started, and I want ladies to hear this. How long is your morning routine now? Just out of curiosity.
All right. It started 10 minutes, like I told you.
Right.
And now I do have a 2-hour morning routine.
Yep.
That's just for me, that I find nourishing. And I do wish that it could be a little longer, but I don't feel like waking up earlier than 5 a.m. at this point.
That's what what I'm talking about, is that I was talking, like, I started with 15 minutes, right? 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of like some form of movement, 5 minutes of journaling. And that's, and honestly, it probably started off at 5, like yours, where I just wanted to do something to have some silence. Right. So that part right there, Jenny, where you're saying this is baby steps. You're not going to go from 0 to 2 hours in like a weekend.
Exactly. And now here is the key to the unlocking habits, or embracing a habit. It needs to be easy and simple and fun.
Yes.
If there's no fun, that's like, a little bit lack of inspiration there. It's like, what am I waking up this for? Right? If it's not easy, you have to drag yourself, right? If it's not simple, It's like, oh, all of these things, like who wants to think about that early in the morning? No.
Right.
And so wake up in the morning, turn on that music and move.
Feeling like life is going so fast that if you slowed down, it would all fall apart? If you always feel like you're going somewhere but never getting anywhere good, the Simplify My Schedule workshop is just what you need to get life back in flow. To learn more, go to thecharmedlife.me/workshop to sign up for the next workshop session. I'll see you there. Now, back to our show.
Simple, easy, fun, right?
And I'm sure the fun that you're talking about, like she's not talking about sitting on your sofa and eating bonbons, right?
No.
That although you want it to have ease to it and be easy, that sometimes you can still make hard things fun.
It doesn't even have to be hard, yeah, of course. I think the idea here is to, the body's made for moving.
Yes.
If you actually go back to the origin of how the body is made, like, what it's made for, right? In the prehistoric times, and, it is for like hunting, running, and, all these things. But it's the modern life that gets us like, so,
heavy.
I don't know, heavy and lazy.
Yeah.
Right. What is that word for, like you just kind of like, sitting down and not moving.
Oh,
like,
sedentary.
Sedentary. Exactly.
Yes.
That's the word. Yeah. And that's what the modern life, I feel, is like, that's like the future of it. If you keep on going with sitting down at the office for 8 hours and then, go back home and maybe celebrate with some alcohol and, watch Netflix. That's not what we're made for. I believe that humans are made to have fun, to move around, because this is such a big world to explore.
Yes.
Right? Socially, physically, and with music and dancing, I feel like I'm exploring what my body can do, how much fun I can have.
Right.
And what other moves can I create through this music that I'm listening? It's like you get to be creative, and you get this spark of fun, and you get to move some energy. You get to create, you get to generate this joyful energy that you help nourishing your emotions with.
Yeah.
Right. Then you are creating this solid, and I don't know if it's just like, happy and like, emotionally
emotionally sound. Yeah.
Right. And that is the energy that you go out in the world with, that you create your world with, that you interact with people with, that you do your job with. And it's all like, from a place of love and joy and happiness, right? Because you've created on your own. And when you consistently do that, then you understand that you are the one responsible for your own joy. You are the one responsible for your own happiness, because you are creating it, like right there, right now. Right.
And it starts with, like, like you said, that clarity piece of knowing, what do you want? What brings you joy? What can you add more of into your life? And that even when you do have, I am a firm believer that as often as possible, I should have more things in my life that bring me joy than the hard things, right? Because then when you have more hard things, like there are seasons in life where you do have more hard things, but if you're all the time every day, then you burn out. And that's how I think a lot of women experience burnout, is that you're in this cycle of just energy pulling and energy sucking for so long that, you burn out.
Yeah.
How do you navigate through the tough times, through the heavy lifting of life? How do you navigate through that in a way that still aligns with how you want to show up and still allows you the space to have breath?
Okay. Now, with things that are hard in life, something that I've learned about hard things, hard life, that's how I grew up. That's how I was taught. pretty much growing up. Life is hard. You need to work hard. And you just gotta suck it up. If your husband's an asshole, so what? Like, you're a woman, you're a wife, right? And you don't like your boss, well, that's just the way it is. Just suck it, because that's how life is. It's hard. And I think with me having that's pretty much like, what I was kind of going with. That's what I was flowing with. Not really flowing, like plowing through, right? Because I thought I had no choice. But once I started with my own habits, and I got reconnected with myself, I got reconnected with my own joy and my own happiness. I slowly reconnected with my authentic self, what really makes me feel good, what makes me feel just real, what is really real in life, right? And that is how I start developing the boundaries. How's that? This bubble, that is my boundaries.
Right.
Yeah. And so whatever doesn't resonate with me, I step away from it. I reject it. If it doesn't resonate, if it's not aligned with what brings me joy, I think I'm going to have to say no to that, right? And as for, okay, now here's an example. When I was super unhappy and depressed back before I got my divorce and everything, I think I told you I was an exhausted mother.
Right.
I hated my job. I didn't have any friends because all my friends, like they just stepped away from our relationships because I was always angry, right? Because I was unhappy. I didn't have a good relationship with myself. And so it was hard, right? If I wanted to focus on, say, the job that I did not like, I teach in an inner city school where the kids come from troublesome environments,
right?
Drugs, violence, and all that. And they came to school needing love and attention that I could not give because I was also depleted and exhausted and depressed. And when I started that relationship with myself, with the morning routine, reconnected with my joy and fun, and got in touch with my authenticity. And, one thing that I kept asking myself when I was, in that state when the world is asleep and I'm not being judged, I asked myself, what is the most fun right now? How can I have fun right now? And that was like the mantra that I adopted. It's like, what is fun right now? Oh, I want to try this challenging yoga pose, right?
So I'm speaking from the space of, like, on average, of course, you're not going to go, I want to do hard things, right?
No.
But sometimes hard things come up, like life. And I guess it's somatic. So not hard things, but things that need to be done in life, specifically in being a mom, or things that just need to be done that you may not necessarily love, but they need to be done.
They do need to be done, but the question is, what are you focusing on, right? Because when I was depressed back then, I was wearing this filter of everything sucked, right? And like, oh, miss, I made this sweet picture for you because I love you. Oh, thank you. I'm going to put this in the desk and go back to your seat. Like, I could have been cold like that. But like now, right? Because I still have the same job. I'm still teaching in inner city school, but I have such a good relationship with most of my students. And I don't judge anymore because I don't judge myself. And when I'm lesson planning, the question that I ask myself when I'm lesson planning is, how can I make this fun?
So I get it. So
You
it's
know what
not
I mean?
thinking about the task per se. It's thinking about how you want to feel in said task and how you want the experience to be for yourself. So then you don't look at things necessarily as being hard things or challenging things. You look at it from the space of, this is something that whether it's something that I've chosen to do or something that needs to be done either for work or whatever. I could look at it and be like really pissed off, or I could go, what is my intention? You go into it with more intentionality and
Mhm.
not just blind. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Oh.
That's what it is. And when you're actually present, and you know what? When you look at something that you have to do and ask yourself how you can have fun with it, you're growing with it. And I feel that, it's like, this whole thing of pursuit of happiness. But you know what? I feel that humans are here, most living things are here inevitably. Um, they're here to grow.
Yes. If you're not growing,
Happiness,
you're dying.
yes, happiness is the byproduct of that growth, right? And then when you look back, and like, now I'm looking back, like how I am, like I have like this bigger perspective, and looking back to like my depressed self, like, oh my God, how far have I come? And that gives
Wow.
me so much happiness, right? That gives me so much joy. And so then you understand that when you're dancing, like at least when I'm dancing, like I'm trying all these new moves, that's also growth, and I'm happy in the process. But then you know what? When you're dancing, or when you're, enjoying company of someone like I am now, it's like you're not getting somewhere. You're not here to get somewhere. You're here to enjoy it. You're here to enjoy the dance. You're not here to arrive somewhere, right?
Oh my gosh. So I don't
Right?
know. I hope the audience is picking up what you are putting down, because what I hear is intention, gratitude, joy. That
Mhm.
when you're in that space continually, things aren't necessarily easy or hard, they just are. And how you interact with them is a pure byproduct. Oh my God, I have tingles, Jenny. So,
Exactly. Take out all that judgment. It's never hard. It's just is,
oh
right?
my gosh. And that is such a mind fuck from what we've been taught,
Mm.
isn't it? Just from what we've been taught and from how many of us have been raised to go, I have choice. How do I want to interact? Like, and going into things with intentionality. How do I want to engage with this activity? What is my intention? What is my goal for this? How do I want to feel? How do I want other people to feel when they interact with me? Like those are right. Those are
Yeah.
just those spaces where you really have to be willing to dig into self and to slow down and create the space for yourself. Because if you don't start, creating that space so you can get clear, it sounds
Mhm.
like without you even, like if you had never done that and taken those 5 minutes each morning just to get up and dance, you wouldn't be here,
No,
right? You would
no.
still have the mask on, and you would still be masking how you felt just to get along, just to move through, because
Yes.
you know, that's what good wives or good moms
Mhm.
do. And being caught up in all of that BS, that belief system that doesn't even belong to many of us. We have the power to create our own set of paradigms and beliefs
Mhm.
based on, like, we don't have to follow the norms. I cannot believe, Jenny, that 30 minutes has passed. I am not happy about that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And I'm really, really enjoying this too. And actually what you said reminded me of that state of, that choice, right? Of when we're kind of carrying that judgment with us, and all that heavy energy of what we've been conditioned with,
Yep.
and we're holding this umbrella, right, that is unnecessary and blocking all the inspiration, all the good things that's like raining down on us, right? It's like
Right.
that time, me being an unhappy mother, I could not enjoy the how cute my son is, like
Yes.
he still is, that time when he was such a beautiful, beautiful baby, and like radiant and playful. But I was always so tired, and like I had all this expectation as a woman and as a mom, and all these things that I had to do,
Yep.
that I was not able to
To
enjoy
be
just being a
present.
mother. Yeah. Exactly. So I was blocking. I was not allowing all this love to come into my life, right? Like,
Yep.
the love of my friends, like, that I could have just received. But looking back, hey, that's where I was. And right now, because I am disciplined with
Mm.
prioritizing my own joy, prioritizing my own well-being, in the process, I'm opening my heart. I'm clearing all of these conditionings and all of these expectations. And the world is such, it's a beautiful place. There's so much love coming from everywhere, right? Even from my students, like, who I used to be, whom I used to think is like, oh, such brats. Like, I don't like being around them. It's like, they're adorable and they're so much fun. And like, and my kid, he always knows how to have fun. He always knows how to be in the moment. And I have so much to learn from him. And it's like, wow, everywhere I go, there's only blessings, but I could not see it at that point.
It's like somebody takes
The
get some
filter.
Windex and
Yeah.
they clean off the glass for you. And you're like, has it been like this the whole time? Like, what the heck? How did I miss this? Like, what's going on? Yeah. I totally feel you with that, because that is like an awakening space that I've come into recently as well.
Mm.
It's always that pivotal thing that kind of happens that makes you go, oh yeah, this is not working. Yep. No, we're going to have to. And then as you go on this journey, that's the other thing that's been constant with these podcasts this season, is that this is a journey, babe. This is not take a journal or your phone and sit down for a weekend in a dark corner and put blinders on and you'll get it done and you'll be perfect by the end of the weekend. No, this is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to enjoy and soak up each step, each misstep, which there are really no missteps, but that's a different topic. But each part of your journey, you just want to soak that up and enjoy the journey, because it's never really about the destination.
No, you don't have to go anywhere. You just have to enjoy like what we have now. It's like, are we going anywhere right now? No.
Yes.
We're just enjoying our dance.
Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, so rapid fire question. Oh, this was so good, Jenny. So rapid fire question. The beaches or the mountains?
I actually like both, but I'd go for beach because you don't need to put on too many articles of clothing. Yeah, mountains is like too complicated.
What are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? I've actually been Dalai Lama, The Art of Happiness.
Ooh.
Yeah. He has some perspectives that I don't necessarily enjoy. But it's always good to be exposed to another perspective.
Exactly.
And see like, where, he's coming from, this monastery background. So it's interesting to explore. So no judgment though.
He has not lived.
Hey, he's happy. He's a super happy guy.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you in these internet streets?
Instagram at Sunny Jenny Lee, and I also have a Facebook page. I'll give you the link to that.
Okay.
And also LinkedIn. I need to get back to LinkedIn because I kind of find it a little boring. It's just too professional. And I on Facebook, I also have this group called Burnout Mom Support.
Okay.
If you feel you need some tips or, like some emotional support and, how to get through being a mom, I've been there and I know. And so, yeah, come in.
So all of those will be in the captioning for the podcast. So you can just go and you can connect. Or if you just go on the podcast site, you'll be able to pull all of her goodies from there as well. It has been an honor, a joy, and a pleasure to
Same here.
connect with you today.
Me too.
I mean, there's like been a lot of our times where I've gotten just tingles, and it's like, yes, this is the juiciness I was talking about. So
awesome.
thank you so much. Thank you all for joining the We Ain't Normal show. Remember, stay weird, and I'll catch you next episode. Thanks for listening to the We Ain't Normal show. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe so that other neurodiverse moms can feel seen, heard, and supported in their journey. Until next time, remember, stay weird. And I'll see you on the next episode. Coming up next time on the We Ain't Normal show.
So I look at that list all the time, and I'm like, okay, every week I'm looking in like, okay, am I doing things to make sure that I hit those goals? If I'm not doing things, then I have to recalibrate myself and go back and cancel things out and say, I'm sorry, but this is not a part of my plan for this year. Oh my gosh, I have to do everything with the motivation that I'm living my life right now. And if it's not around that, if the conversation is not around that, if what I'm doing is not around that, I don't want to do it.
Want more of this episode? Make sure your podcast notifications are on and you're a part of the We Ain't Normal family by going to thecharmslife.show to get weekly podcast updates and notifications. I'll see you there.